Well, howdy, boys and girls, and welcome to episode 18 of CETA, Creating Every Day in April. And it's good to see you again. I hope you've been enjoying the little episodes I've been putting together. This is the 18th, and as I have said in previous episodes, this is words from the Southern Dictionary, but in reality, they are expressions from the Southern Dictionary. So we're kind of bouncing back and forth. And today is no exception because we're going to be looking at a couple of words that utilize the letter P as we work our way through the alphabet in the Southern Dictionary, CETA episode number 18. So let's get on with it. How about the first word? Wrong slide. It's live. We'll get on with the first word. It's the word piddlin'. Piddlin'. You know, piddlin's kind of an unusual word in the South because it means two different things if you think about it. You see, if you're under age 8, in other words, you're a rugrat, you're running around, sometimes the word piddlin' will actually mean to urinate. Go in there and piddle before I have to spank you, or before you go to bed, you need to piddle. Well, that's a word that we use sometimes, but actually adults, which is what I am, tend to use the word piddling in a little different fashion. It's kind of similar to the expression fiddling around, but there's no fiddle when you piddle. So sometimes we say I'm fiddling around, and basically that means we're just doing a whole lot of nothing. Somebody will call you up on the phone and say, well, hey, Tommy, what you doing? And Tommy will say, oh, I don't know. I'm just kind of piddling around in the workshop, or I'm piddling around in the studio, which is kind of what I do right now, sort of. But that's what the word piddling means if you ever come south. Now, I understand that it has other meanings around the world, but that's the way we use it because sometimes we just do a lot of piddling around. It's laying on the beach, going to the river. Well, you name it, we can piddle at it. So, and that's the first word of the day, piddling. But the next word is another interesting word that comes from the Southern expressions called playing possum. Now I'll let this marinate for a second because I don't know if most folks, well, anybody north of the Mason-Dixon line might not know what playing possum really means. And playing possum is kind of an expression taken from the actual animal, the possum himself. The possum, when he is in danger, there's something that's he's encountered that's causing him to become fearful. He will actually lay on the ground and act like he's dead. And so that's where the expression playing possum comes from. So sometimes when you're a parent, you walk in on your kids, and they've been out playing and they're jumping around on the bed, and you walk in the bedroom and they hear you coming, and by the time you open the door, they're all laying there all quiet, and you say, what are you kids doing? And they act like they're asleep. They're like, what? And that means they're playing possum. They're playing like they're asleep. I can remember, and this has been years ago, because she's a grown woman now, but my youngest daughter, Mary, and my oldest daughter, Anna, came running into the house, and we had a house that was kind of situated on a lot with some naturally wooded property behind it. So there was always different animals, rabbits and squirrels and all sorts of stuff running through our backyard. But they came running in the house and they said, Daddy, 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 there's a woozle in the yard. And I said, a woozle? Oh, I don't even know what a woozle is. Are you talking about a weasel? No, Daddy, I think it's a woozle. Come look. And my daughter Mary had already run out prior to my oldest daughter and I having this conversation. So as we walked out into the yard, run is probably a better description, I noticed that Mary's over in the wooded area, and she's down on her knees, and she's petting a possum who's playing possum, playing dead. And of course, possums are like giant rats, and they can also be rabid. And I said, Mary, if you would, do me a favor and very gently stand up and back away, because that's not a pet. But she said, why, Daddy? I just want to pet him. I said, Mary, you're going to make me piddle in my pants. Please get up and move away from that possum. Well, it wasn't a woozle. It wasn't a weasel. It was a possum. You know, down in Auburn, Alabama, we see a lot of animals that are called aardvarks. It's like a hard-shelled animal, and they kind of get run over. You know, there's an old joke about why the chicken crossed the road, to prove to the possum he could really do it. Well, nevertheless, armadillos down there are referred to sometimes as possum on the half shell. So anyway, that's what playing possum's all about. And that's the 2 word of the day expressions that we're going to deal with today. Tomorrow, we'll be dealing with the letter Q, and I hope you'll join me when we do. In the meantime, if you get down to Alabama, you remember what I always say, come see me. Or in other words, as we say in the South, y'all come.